What's up, everybody? Creature Commandos and the new DCU have arrived, and James Gunn dropped a ton in these two episodes. Before we get into those episodes, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you're not missing out on any videos or streams, which will be up next week. I'm going to get the technical issues all fixed. But enough from me, let's get into the show. Episode 1 hit the ground running, laying the groundwork for both this show and the new DCU. That came in the form of Amanda Waller, shout out Viola Davis, introducing Rick Flag Sr. to his new team, Task Force M. The mission is to head to Pekolistan and assist the princess against Cersei and the Sons of Themyscira. That's of course the island of the Amazons, giving us our first tease of Wonder Woman in the DCU. But it's also the home of Cersei, Wonder Woman's foe. She's an Amazonian sorceress who sold her soul to hell and never stopped trying to get it back. She also has, and this could come into play with this version of the Sons of Themyscira, the ability to transform her patrons into bestiamorphs. Then as far as Pekolistan goes, it's an Eastern European nation with ties to both General Zod and President Lex Luthor in the comics. So it's been a long troubled nation. Zod has fought alongside the people of the country, kind of like Cersei seems to be right now, so it kind of makes me wonder if she's going to kind of just step into the role of a General Zod, while the Creature Commandos step in for the Justice League who went up against him. Final bit from this packed opening scene saw Rick Flag Sr. referencing Adebayo, Waller's daughter, outing her for her dirty work at Argus, which in turn led to no more humans on her task force and the creation of Task Force M. These opening credits were also incredible, very reminiscent of Batman the Brave and the Bold, with the upbeat music and the action with the characters. Then we meet the team: Nina Mazursky, the innocent soul damned by Waller, G.I. Robot, Dr. Phosphorus, the free vasectomy giver, the bride, and Weasel, who brings the Quarter Maltese mission from the Suicide Squad into canon. But for whatever reason, Weasel is as pivotal as they come when they're on the Osprey heading to Pekolistan, as Flag mentions Weasel having a bad trip on that same Osprey. So, if you think about it, that probably means that his son, Rick Flag Jr., also took that Osprey for his final mission. Just some diabolical work from Amanda Waller. Anyway, once the team's on the ground in Pekolistan, we make our way to the castle, and boy oh boy is Flag impressed with the princess. It almost seemed like, and this is speculation, not a scoop, like the princess was flattering him to hide something. The bride seemed to sense it when they're at the dinner table, and the queen is just drooling at the head of the table. But we also got a clue of when the DCU is set in time, as G.I. Robot said, it's been 74 years, 23 days, and 52 minutes since he's gotten to kill Nazis, which, assuming that means the end of World War II, would put us in May 2019 in this episode. It seems he did some cleanup after the war, though, as another line of dialogue counters this theory. That came from Rick Flag Sr. when he brought his son up to the princess. He mentions the Quarter Maltese mission once again and says it took place 2 years ago. That counters my timeline of May 2019 because Gunn confirmed way back that the Suicide Squad, his movie, is set in 2021, same year it came out, meaning Creature Commandos is set in 2023 inside the DCU. And again, Princess Alana Rostovic is doing crazy levels of glazing. It reminded me of the Chimpokemon episode from South Park, if you guys know that, where where that toy company is just glazing the Americans to get them to buy their toy, and the glazing in there is at those levels, almost as if she's trying to come off, as some innocent girl who's been jolted into this position, I bet, and this isn't a full theory just yet, it's just an initial thought. Maybe she's working with Cersei. Then the episode closes with the castle going dark while Task Force M linger awake, tortured by their situations, all but G.I. Robot, who seemingly happily stands guard for the princess, counting Nazis he's killed instead of sheep. But the bride isn't a fan of being cooped up, and she's also got deeper connections to Pekolistan. She sneaks out to go back home, where it all began for her, Dr. Frankenstein's lab. Nina Mazursky joins her, and she's an interesting one, as she seems, to be an overall innocent soul. Like I said that before, I think, in this video, but I'm just very curious to know what she did to get on this team, as she and the bride are spotted at the lab. But the lights also came back on at the castle and nobody flipped a switch. It was Rick Flag Sr. and Dr. Phosphorus going at it after Phosphorus tried grabbing the remote for their brain implants. This fight sparked a theory, and I'm going to dive into this more in a separate video, but I think this is going to set up a cancer storyline with Rick Flag in Peacemaker Season 2, and he's going to be racing against time to get revenge for his son against Peacemaker. Then, in the trailer for the rest of the show, we got our first look at some of the DCU's heroes as Cersei shows the Creature Commandos a possible future with Superman on a cross, which has stirred up Twitter, Starfire, Mr. Terrific, and what looks to be, this isn't confirmed, but it's what I see, Captain Atom in between Starfire and Superman, and then Blue Beetle in between Superman and Mr. Terrific, with Peacemaker in a pile of skulls right after it. That was a jam-packed episode, and I'm all about it. The one shocking thing I would say was that outside of G.I. Robot, I didn't think the show was all too funny, and I always enjoyed Gunn's sense of humor, so I wasn't expecting that. But the episode did its job setting the groundwork for the show and the DCU as a whole, and it did so in an entertaining way too. I'm all in on this story. Moving on to the second episode from the premiere, it felt a bit lighter with the breakdown material, at least for me, but it also jumped into action with episode 1 setting everything up. We saw the bride return to the lab she was created in, and then we got to live in there with her for a bit in this episode after seeing it last episode, and that propelled us into flashbacks where we saw Dr. Frankenstein and his monster choosing his bride, and it's just brutal, not quality wise, but for these characters, and it's for both the bride and the monster. She just couldn't really process him, and then her bond with the doctor became stronger as he was the one grounding her in this confusing new life. Then back at the castle, Alon helps Flag clean up after his tussle with Phosphorus while she tries to get in his pants once again, but this time she's successful as she gets her hold over the soldier while his team sits outside the door listening in on one of the craziest scenes James Gunn has ever cooked up, and it was so damn funny. The episode also featured an incredible fight as Cersei pulls up on the bride and Nina and starts going ham. The bride responds, dodging her blast and protecting Nina, then she goes ham and the two engage in a badass fight. But when the bride's mind drifts to the old doctor, who Frankenstein killed after the doctor grew too close to his bride, Cersei gets the advantage and ends up taking her out while the Sons of Themyscira pop Nina's helmet. With the revelation of the doctor's death, though, came a multiple century-long montage of Frankenstein just stalking and chasing the bride into the present when he'll come into the picture with the team as the girls are taken to end the episode. Like I said, episode 2 wasn't as packed with stuff for me to dive into, but I absolutely loved the big fight with Cersei and the bride. Still didn't totally enjoy the comedy, but it got better here, and that crazy scene with the team outside the bathroom door definitely gave it a boost and kinda just made the whole episode. I couldn't stop laughing. And so that'll do it for my breakdown of the first 2 episodes of Creature Commandos. Overall, I'd say it was like a 7 out of 10 start for the show and for the DCU, but my nerdy brain is spinning at 100 miles per hour with theories, so stay tuned for a big video over the weekend. Let me know what you thought of the first 2 episodes though down in the comments below, and make sure you have a great day.